94.51.
Senator Cory Booker is here today.
All right.
First time in the new home.
It is the first time in the new home. Congratulations on the new home.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want you to know, I don't know if you saw anything curious. I don't usually travel with this many people.
No, your entourage though today.
No, it has nothing to do with me.
You're like a rapper today.
No, it's the fact that. But you notice the male-female ratio here. All the fellas wanted to be up in here with you.
Stop it.
No, I'm telling the truth.
So who are these guys? Is this your security?
My former chief of staff, when I was mayor, now he's my state director. He doesn't usually come to these kinds. No, he just needed to come to see you.
Are you serious?
Yes. And then
nice
Kevin Batts, former detective Kevin Batts, he usually stays in the car. He does not come in.
Stays in the car.
This time he wanted to come up here and see you.
You are like
there's really only one person here that legitimately should be here, and that's the young lady. The three fellas that are here came for a reason, and it was not me.
Your entourage today.
Yes. Today I'm rolling deep.
I will tell you though, it was very impressive the walk-in.
You know
what I mean? You look really important.
I have
really
to say,
official.
if all my meetings were with beautiful, talented individuals like you, I would roll a lot deeper. I would have an entourage more usually.
It is so good to see you.
So tell me about the new gig.
I'm great. I mean, they're treating me amazing.
That's great. The studio is incredibly nice.
The studio is nice. There's a couple of little studios that they sell bottles of water for $0.25, which I thought was really cool.
All right.
It's the little things that excited me. And yeah, so far so good.
No, but this is really nice. The whole studio seems nice. It seems befitting of who you are and the impact that you have.
For those that don't know, Senator Booker has been a guest on my show many times. And today was, of course, the first one here,
yes,
which is kind of cool.
No, it means a lot. I'm glad I wanted to come in and actually do it.
What's happening in Washington? Are they treating you nicely?
It has been 11.
Are they being nice to you?
It has been 11 months. For those of you who don't know, I was elected to a special election, which only meant I got to finish out the unexpired term of the late Frank Lautenberg.
Right.
And so this 11 months, it's been interesting to go from being a mayor to being a United States senator.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's rarely done. Only 21 times in America has somebody gone from being a mayor directly to being a senator.
Is it really? Just
yeah.
Okay.
And since 1789, it's not that often. So I have a different perspective down there. And, you have to fight for the things that really matter. And whether it's, getting money for our community colleges, for connecting people with jobs, whether it's fighting to help veterans coming home. We have all this money to send people off to war, but we don't seem to have the resources when they come home. Whether it's for college affordability, people don't realize how expensive it is for middle-class folks, struggling folks to afford even college. So for me, it's just a perspective of what can we do while we're there to expand opportunity for people.
I would imagine, though, somebody who just started a new gig, that you get into the new gig and there are things you didn't expect
Absolutely.
or didn't know. What surprised you, and what have you learned?
Well, I've learned a lot. I mean, the learning curve has been really steep. But you have to understand that for those people who are interested in politics, you're entering, in many ways, an arena where there are guys down there that have been there since I was in high school. I mean, some of these names, like John McCain, was there since I was in high school. So you're suddenly
that was like an age jab. You just jabbed him.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to jab Senator McCain. I'm not trying to jab you.
If he was in the room,
I guess what I'm trying to say.
You called him old.
No, I got into this fight with Jay Rockefeller, the senator from. He's obviously a famous name in New York.
Right.
He's a senator from West Virginia, and he said, "Cory, call me Jay," and I'm like, "Sir, I will not call you Jay." He goes, "You're my peer." I said, "Sir, I will not do that." He's older than my parents, and he's had such a legendary career of fighting for poor people. And so it's this weird experience where you're one of the younger people down there. And
you're tweeting.
I'm tweeting.
And not everybody's tweeting.
Not everybody knows what Twitter is.
Right, exactly.
But these are folks that have served our country, whether you agree with them or not, on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
They've gone through battles for their nation, serving as they best see fit. And it's a privilege to be with them.
What's the biggest challenge for you? What is your biggest challenge in terms of getting reelected?
Well, before we get that, the biggest challenge for me, look, I don't. New Jersey's a great state. We're the only state with two minorities, a Latino and an African American.
Pretty good.
And I love the fact that it's just Jersey folks. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal. But having come from a city where I see the everyday challenges that our young people have, that our communities have. There are issues that just irk me, and I have a sense of urgency around that I'm trying to awaken the urgency of others. And so take something like a broken criminal justice system that costs states and it costs our nation $250 billion a year to lock up 1/4, 25% of the globe's imprisoned people are in America, and we only have 4% of the globe's population, 25% of the imprisoned people. Majority of them there, 72% about for nonviolent offenses.
Mm-hmm. Like what? Like selling weed or something?
Selling weed. That's
right.
the contrast. That you have the last 3 presidents admitted to smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
One of them didn't inhale, but 3 of them
allegedly.
Allegedly.
We
and
weren't
then
there.
you have kids who have their lives destroyed. 17 years old, caught for possession, felony conviction. At 17 years old, you can't get a Pell Grant. You can't get many jobs. You can't get many business licenses.
It definitely doesn't help.
Yeah, we disempower people to be
right.
successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually create an expensive system that undermines people's economic potential, holds them back, and often makes them end up going back into lives of crime. And so for me, there's an urgency to fix something like that, not just for the budget reasons, which I've been able to find some people to agree with me on for those reasons, but really just who are we as a country?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to have a country that puts up obstacles. We want to be a country that empowers people to succeed. And so for me, that's been the interesting experiences.
So how do you do that? So because there still has to be a price to pay, right? When you break the law, even if it's a small,
most definitely. But
you just change the laws, right?
You change the laws, and I put in a law with, of all people, Rand Paul, a Tea Party Republican, and I joined together on this issue because we both said, why are you having a system that's so expensive for taxpayers and then disempowers people when they get out? So look, I remember when I was mayor, this guy came to me who 10, 15 years earlier had a nonviolent drug offense, was now trying to get a job with New Jersey Transit, had gotten the uniform, they did a background check. He'd been clean for over a decade, and it was a nonviolent drug offense, and he couldn't get a New Jersey Transit job. He qualified in every other way. We're electing people to be president who have had nonviolent, who smoke weed, had nonviolent drug offenses, and we're stopping a guy from driving a bus. And so that doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense that only 20% of the people that go to jail addicted to drugs or alcohol get treatment. And so we, surprise, surprise, when you give treatment to people, they don't then recidivate. They don't then do the crime again.
So what do we need to do to support you on this?
Well, for me, vote.
Yes, voting is very important, everybody.
but you have to understand, they don't, and I say there's efforts going on to stop a lot of people from voting, especially minorities and poor people. And I say that very pointedly because when you put up these obstacles to voting, like you're seeing in states like North Carolina and Texas, then you really, the people it impacts the most are often folks who are minorities or folks that are poor. But please understand that the expectation in the midterm election is that folks won't go out and vote. And
still, though.
That is not still, it's the evidence.
Yeah.
During a presidential election, you get 60% plus turnouts.
Okay.
During this election, which is a midterm election, people are expecting at best we get 40%.
Is that the average?
Yes. In the 40s.
We have to do better.
We have to do better because it's often in these elections that things happen.
Important things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Like take, for example, the Supreme Court. You know, it's been growing more conservative. They just passed, many people might have heard about the Hobby Lobby decision. What was that? It basically means that hardworking people now are facing a situation where their health insurance is not going to cover certain forms of birth control. And that might mean that people are going to now have to make a decision. Well, do I pay the rent? Do I buy my monthly New Jersey Transit card? Or do I now have to go out of pocket for some of these things? That was a decision made by the Supreme Court that said that your boss gets to decide, based upon their religious beliefs, gets to decide what kind of birth control you have. And can restrict the access to certain birth control. Now that people might say, well, what could I be doing about that? Well, this is could be the 2 years that a Supreme Court justice comes up. If we lose the Senate because people didn't come out and vote, then it's going to be very hard to get a justice that reflects the majority of the people's opinions, ideals, and values on the court. And so people don't understand the consequences from their inaction.
Right.
King said this so eloquently. And I might get a little bit of it wrong, but he said, what we're going to have to repent for in our day and age is not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people. It's the appalling silence and inaction of the good people.
Yeah.
And so we've got to realize there's a lot of latent power in our communities that we just don't manifest or use because so many of us are sitting on the sidelines.
I find we just have to get riled up sometimes.
Well, sometimes, unfortunately, that's often what happens.
Riling people up.
Right.
It
is, but
unfortunately,
yeah. Look,
because we should just feel responsible and feel an obligation, and feel empowered by being able to go vote. But sometimes, yes, a little riling up.
Yeah, because it wasn't that long ago. You and I weren't alive, but it was just 50 years ago when we passed the voting rights legislation that people were literally out there dying. 1964 Civil Rights Act, I should say, voting rights is coming up next year. but Goodman, Cheney, Schwerner, just to try to get people the rights to vote. And then people were getting riled up because they were being denied. But now that we have the right, and we don't see things. I always tell the joke about going to vote in 2008 when Obama was up for being elected.
Yeah, that was real. People were riled up.
Oh my gosh, lines around. And I went to the end of the line in Newark, and I love my city because people keep it real. So I go up to the end of the line. I'm the mayor of the city. I wasn't rolling as deep as I am now.
Oh, you didn't have your mom?
I didn't have because you weren't at the polling place.
Stop it.
But when I get to the end of the line, I'm the mayor of the city.
Mm-hmm.
The person on the end of the line doesn't look at me and says, "Hi, mayor, historic day, mayor." They're like, "Don't you think you're cutting in this line now? you're gonna wait just like everybody else." And I look at her and I go, "Yes, ma'am." And I wait in this like over hour long line to vote. 1 year later, it was the gubernatorial election in New Jersey.
Just you, and it was just you there.
No line. I hugged the poll workers because they looked lonely, and we lost that election. In that case, it was a Democrat that lost. A Republican became governor, and right out of the blocks, they cut the earned income tax credit, saying we're not going to raise taxes. But when you cut the earned income tax credit, it means poor people pay more taxes. The closed Planned Parenthoods. And I start getting complaints from people in my city saying, why are they doing this to us? Why are they doing this?
Where were you?
Where
were you
on
election day, right?
Yeah, we did it to ourselves by not voting and not engaging.
Okay, so we should have this information in front of us. And, of course, I do not. We should have polling information. And what can you tell me?
Well, in New Jersey, you want to know when to vote. They make it so easy. Go to your search engine, pull out your smartphone, and say, "Where do I go to vote?"
Ask Siri. She probably knows.
I'm telling you right now.
If you ask Siri.
This is the easiest it's ever been. In New Jersey especially. I don't know what your New York laws are, but
I
in
am
New
going to
Jersey
make sure, too, on the
easy.
site that we're pushing out and tweeting all ways to find out where the nearest polling station is.
Yeah,
and we can make it, at least try to make it easier.
And the presumption is young people won't vote. The presumption
that should piss you off alone, that they just assume you're not going to show up. That should make you mad enough
to
want to go vote.
Even all these polls that you see on TV, they poll based upon, that's why polling is not accurate all the time, because they make these expectations based on past data who's going to vote. And so when they say Barack Obama has only got a 46% approval rating, they're often only talking to people. They're talking to so-called likely voters, is what they usually use. They're not listening to young people. They're not listening to. They're not sampling that many folks in New York City or in Hackensack or in Patterson or Passaic. Because they don't think those folks vote, and if you don't vote in this new economy we have, you don't matter.
Yeah.
And a lot of the decisions that are being made based upon electorates, and so we have to understand that we really hurt ourselves and our communities when we don't go out and vote. And
it should piss you off that they don't think you're coming. It should make you mad. You should want to go prove them wrong.
It is this unfortunate reality. Yeah. That there's an old saying that Frederick Douglass once said this, the power of the oppressor, not that I'm saying that we're in slavery or anything like that, but the power of oppressor is always dependent upon the endurance of those people who are oppressed. In other words, if you're willing to put up with stuff and not do anything, then you're going to continue having to put up with stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people who don't realize who just these issues are all being fought for in Congress right now, raising the minimum wage. I'm going to go back down there and fight. But if I don't have colleagues because we're not electing people or these congressional races in our region, we can't win that.
And if we don't vote for you and keep you in there, then you can't go in and fight for us. Paid
family leave. Think about this. Paid family leave. Every one of our competitor countries, developed democracies, every single one has paid family leave except for us. Afghanistan and Pakistan, paid family leave. We don't. If you have a baby, you have to take some time off, you are going to have to pay out of your own pocket and miss those days at work. Every other country around the globe that's similarly situated to the United States.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So things that we don't even think about that are hardships on our lives. Let me tell you right now, if we lose this election and the Congress shifts more to the right, what do you think they're going to do? They want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which means that insurance companies are going to be back in charge of whether you can get insurance or not. If you have a pre-existing condition, if your child has diabetes, they can deny you insurance. It used to be the number one reason people used to declare bankruptcy was because they had an unexpected medical emergency that they suddenly couldn't pay for. So whether it's raising them, protecting Social Security and Medicare, I'm running against a guy who says that we should give corporations tax breaks, which ultimately means future recipients of Social Security, like you and I, will have less money to retire on from these programs. It could be fixed if people of wealth paid the same amount of money in terms of their payroll taxes as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening here by us not putting our voice in, the idea that if a woman works the same job as a man, that she can get the same pay, making sure that we keep access to birth control, making sure, you see what's happening in Texas, where they're literally closing down all of the centers that if a woman is a victim of rape or incest, she can make her own healthcare decision, preventing that from even happening despite Roe v. Wade on the federal level. All of these issues play out, and people don't really realize them. And then just things like funding public education or the cost of college, all of these things play out. Investments in things. If anybody here, I get complaints all the time about New Jersey Transit. Well, one of the reasons why our train systems are so bad going back and forth across the Hudson River is because we're not investing in infrastructure anymore.
And you need money.
You need money. And
you need somebody in there fighting for you.
Right.
So you have to vote.
Exactly.
See?
Exactly.
Okay, we're getting the message out.
Well, I hope so.
We're getting the message out. We were just talking about, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 2 years since the hurricanes.
Yes, today is actually the second year.
The second year. How do you feel about how we've progressed and cleaned up?
Look, there's a lot of things we should all be proud of. A lot of local communes, towns have pulled together. A lot of volunteers. I've gone down a number of times to help build homes with a lot of folks. But I'm frustrated because there's a lot of federal money that's been put into our state, New Jersey, that hasn't been expended yet.
Yeah.
And the majority of people that are waiting for money to get back into their homes, repair their homes, still haven't gotten it. I was just down in Union Beach today and sat with homeowners, and it literally broke my heart. I mean, my staff saw I was fit to be tied, as they say, because of the stories that people still have about the bureaucracy that they're going through the state, the contractors, all this, getting approvals, trying to get on lists. So we have to do a lot of a better job. And I brought in Senator Martinez, and I brought the HUD secretary, part of Obama's cabinet, in to hear from New Jersey residents about their frustrations so that we can try to start holding people accountable to our residents.
I can't even imagine. No, we're in the city, so we don't see that. But when I'm watching the news, I'm watching some of the people that were on the water.
Yeah, you still see homes boarded up, people living in trailers or still doubling up. And so 2 years later, there's still a lot of work to do. And a lot of my constituent service time has been spent by just helping families battle through bureaucracy to get what they deserve. And don't get me started on a lot of these insurance companies. People have $250,000 policies, $70,000 is all they got. You pay for years, decades into your insurance policy just in case something really major happens.
You're gonna have to rule the world, Mr. Booker.
I don't want that.
You're gonna have to rule
I don't
the
want
world.
that. You know what? The great leaders, this is what I always find, don't get people, should not be judged by the followers they have. Great leaders are the people that awaken in all of us the understanding that we too must lead. And so I hope this.
Tupac had a similar quote. It was a little raunchier. There was a little foul language, but it was something to the effect of, "I may not change the world, but I will spark in the mother effer that will change the world. He will spark something." In the person
so Tupac,
that
we all sample that knowledge and wisdom. Stokely Carmichael said, "We are the leaders we've been looking for," and this idea that we have to start taking responsibility. I was in a high school speaking the other day in New Jersey, in Sayreville High School, which has been in the news because of the scandal in football. But I was there talking to members of the student body, and this young lady just put her hand up and said, "Look, you've got to be famous or a politician to make a difference." And I was like, "What are you talking about? You never let your inability to do everything undermine your determination to do something."
Yeah.
All of us can do something in somebody's life. In fact, the biggest thing you can do in any day is a small act of kindness, decency, and love. And that's what we should be looking to do, the things that we can do around us right now to make a difference. Let me tell you a sad story. Look, did you know soup kitchens, food banks have been hit so hard in our region because a lot of families are still struggling. And so everybody who's listening to me on the radio, somebody at home has got some food in their pantry, some cans of something they don't eat, that they could be donating.
What do we do? Where do we go? I want to help.
We should. I should have come with some numbers and some.
We need some information.
Yes, but
we want to help.
But take this one step to just go online and say, what is the biggest food bank near me?
Okay, can we
in New Jersey,
we
have regional food banks that just taking it 25 minminutes out of your day on a Saturday.
That is something so easy to do and so just you can see it. You can see the results.
And let me give you another example there is all kind of data that shows when young kids have an adult in their lives that cares about them that's not their family member. Could be a coach or what have you.
Like a mentor, right?
Like a mentor. They do so much better. Mentoring programs, the data for quality mentoring programs shows it drives dramatically down juvenile involvement with police, drives up student achievement, drives down early unsafe sex practices. The outcome for just 4 hours a month, just 4 hours a month. Now, let me tell you the sad story. 4 hours a month is the amount of time we spend watching our favorite TV show.
Easily.
Some of my folks here, they watch Real Housewives and stuff like
really?
that. But if
Scandal?
they gave up Scandal. Don't get me started.
Do you watch Scandal?
I know I would get addicted to that show.
So you have never watched one episode?
I don't want to watch because I don't want to get sucked in.
Because you have other things to do.
I got
clearly.
a crazy life.
You're
Somebody made me watch Game of Thrones, and
Were
before I
you into
know it. 3 seasons had already passed by. Before I knew it, I'm binge watching
That's
Games of Thrones. So I have to control my addictions. Like, don't bring me Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I think that those pints are like serving size.
Yeah, they're not.
And no, they're not.
They're
but
not.
I will go through the whole thing while watching an episode of Game of Thrones. The food and the TV combination for me is just devastating. So I made a big decision. The other day, I just got the TV out of my bedroom. I used to just
You did do that.
you should not have a TV in your bedroom.
That's what they say. It's for number one, so you could sleep better, it gives you peace of mind, and number two, for your sex life. They say it's better to not have a TV in the room. I don't know what's going on in your bedroom, Mr. Booker, but I'm just saying they do say that about keeping a TV in the thing.
I'm gonna just walk away from that.
Okay.
I can't do it as well as Michael Jackson, but I'm moonwalking right
people
now.
have you have been called. Let me see.
No, hold on. Let me just finish this point though about why we got on TV in the first place, because you could mentor for 4 hours a month.
Trying to get me off your scent.
I am trying to get you off. I'm trying to shake it, trying to wiggle out of it.
I'm going to read this quote to you though. You go ahead.
But read me that quote in a second. But just please, I'm making a call for mentoring. 4 hours a month.
Oh yes,
there are kids on waiting lists right now in New Jersey, New York region. Thousands of kids on waiting lists waiting for. I'm a mentor. Waiting for, and I'm busy as anything. I don't even have time to watch Scandal.
How many kids do you mentor?
I mentor one kid, Keandre.
And what does he want to do this? How old is he?
Keandre just turned 13.
Oh, I thought you pointed to him.
I
was like, he's not 13. He's not 13. That is the most gigantic 13-year-old I've ever seen.
Eugene at 6'8" is not 13 years old. But Eugene and Kevin, they're in the car with me all the time.
That's wonderful.
And so they know Keandre well.
And so does he get to travel? Is he from Jersey?
The other day, he just came to campaign stops. That's the thing. People think I have to think of all these things to do. No, just bringing them shopping with you, being around them is a great thing. Last I took him.
And how do you pick this person?
This was easy for me. I mean, there's a lot of kids in the community I know, a lot of single moms I know, and so Keandre's mom I knew for a long time, and I just said, hey. I just finished mentoring somebody else, and I said, "Hey, I'd love to work with your kid and just hang out with him. He seems like a great person."
And when you say finished, how long is there like a set time limit?
Well, when a kid gets to be an adult,
you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you're not done. You still want to keep a relationship with them,
right? But you're not like mentoring.
Yeah, but I've had friends that have been their mentees, like in their weddings and things like that. I've gotten so much out of being a mentor since I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you enough. But why don't we do it? We have the power to change.
And it makes such a difference.
We have the power to change someone's world. Not the world, but someone's world.
I don't do it as regimented as you do. Like, I don't have a thing, but I do, I do events where I see stuff. I did a self-esteem event at the UN last week.
That's great.
And you could see the difference. You could literally see it while it's happening. When you have these conversations with young girls and they're looking at you and they're vulnerable and telling you their story, and you're sharing it and validating it and giving it, you could literally see the difference.
Well, my staff knows I did an event with Mae Jemison, who is the first African-American woman in space.
Oh.
And so we did an event, and I'm, the senator or whatever, but when these young girls and boys saw Mae Jemison, saw her pictures in space, she had their attention. And they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's a crazy thing. One small act of kindness, the biggest thing you can do in any day is
we're gonna be mentors. We're gonna get some canned soup out here to these soup kitchens. We're gonna vote. We're gonna get to the polls.
Yes,
this is our
plan.
We
have power.
We have power.
Alice Walker said the most common way people give up their power is not realizing they have it in the first place. We have power, and it may seem like something small, but it could be a big difference in somebody's life.
Yeah, if this didn't hurt, I would slam it harder.
You need to get a mallet here or something you can crack with.
In 2013, Cory Booker was named Town and Country's top 40 bachelors. Have you had wind of this?
Look at the time. Do we have to go?
How do you handle that type of? Is that an honor? That's an honor.
No, you look.
It's an honor. What do you make of that?
I think that we all want to find our partners, and all this buzz stuff. You have all this. People see us from far away, and they think, but at the end of the day, we're going home, putting on our, opening up a can of
Sons of Anarchy and
Sons of whatever the show is,
Baskin
sitting on the
Robbins.
couch, and often you want to just find that person special. So
Well, how are you going to find her, Mr. Booker, if you're all over the world and mentoring and Baskin Robbins?
Well, I confess it has to be a priority, right?
It has to be a priority.
And I do confess that especially in my days swashbuckling as a mayor, trying to really work hard with some of these people that are here, I didn't prioritize it high enough. And now I find myself 45, and
do you think you will get married one day?
I pray.
Okay.
Honestly, no. When I say
Your
I pray,
mother wants it to happen.
she's outrageously wants it to happen.
I would imagine
but
that
she'll tell you if she's here. If she was here, I should have brought her. I should have brought my mom.
I would
She's
love
here.
that.
She would have loved it too. But my mom says not because of her. She says she knows it will make me happier. She knows that in life, finding your soulmate is one of the greatest things that can happen. So, look, I have faith in God. Yeah, but that gets old quick, doesn't it? You have the same thing.
Have you ever done it?
I have, but then it's bad because if you don't like the person, you insult their friend.
Yes.
It's awkward. It's really awkward. I would rather have like a dinner party and have the person just happen to be there, and not have all that artificial like pressure.
Yeah.
But
of the weird date.
Yeah, but I literally pray. I believe I'm a person of faith. I pray and meditate and I pray that happens. I pray it happens for all of us.
Oh, I pray it happens for you. I think that'll be, especially when it comes time, later down the line when you decide to run for president. It would be nice to have a first lady in the White.
I appreciate you saying that. 44 human beings have ever been president. That should not be we should not in life seek a position. We should fulfill a purpose.
Well, even when they put you in a box, that it is that the possibility exists in that box. That's a pretty good.
That's actually for anybody to be saying that about you. It should be a flattering thing, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
But to me, some of the highest aspirations in life, and you know this. I saw a fella recently. I put him on my Instagram account. He was a bus driver from New Jersey Transit. I meet him on the Saturday a couple weeks ago campaigning. He was carrying laundry with his wife and his little daughter, and I just started talking to him. He was a good heart, and I'm just like, here's this man on a Saturday washing clothes with his wife and his child. And I said, we don't give enough props to people
for that guy.
Yeah, working a tough job.
I get sappy about that.
Yeah, I mean, here's a New Jersey. He's a bus driver, and cool people treat customers.
Those are the heroes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He takes it at work. He comes home. He loved Newark. All he wanted to do was grab me and say, "You did such a great job in Newark. Let people diss our city too much." He had so much pride. I was campaigning. He basically came to me to give me a pep talk. and I looked at him and I got misty talking to this guy. And so that's what I'm saying. It's not the position doesn't make you. My mom said this to me before I became a United States Senator, after I was elected in that little interim period. She goes, Cory, never forget that the title doesn't make the man. The man has to make the title. And so I don't care if you're a senator,
I love
a
your
president.
Mom.
She's I should have brought her today.
I know.
She would have fallen in love with you.
I love that. I would love to one day.
But the truth is that your title means nothing. At the end, when you're just picture yourself 90 years old, 100 years old, on your deathbed, what's important? Not the titles that you've achieved.
Yeah.
It's really the contributions, the difference you made in the lives of other people and the family and friends you have around you.
Yeah, I agree.
So as I'm getting older, I'm appreciating that more and more.
Well, you're doing all right so far.
Thank God.
You have my vote.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
You have my vote.
You have my vote too, because you live life. You don't preach your values, you live them. And I wish your listeners.
You. Oh my gosh, do you know what I'm doing on Sunday?
What's that?
I'm running the New York City Marathon on Sunday.
Oh my God!
I know. I know.
No, I'm in because
Remember last time we talked, I was running like 4 miles.
We did. That's what I'm saying.
3 or 4
and by the way,
miles.
I will never run a marathon.
You could.
I believe that possibly, potentially, I could.
One day. Why not?
It just seems like torture. Like my brother ran a marathon, and he's like, "Yeah," and I put the tape over my nipples because they were bleeding.
Yeah, there's all types of toenails falling off.
Like why would I want to do that?
I've been running. The furthest I've done so far is 18 miles, and you're supposed to do 20 or 22 before the actual marathon. I haven't been able to do that yet. I've only done 18, but I'm hearing that the adrenaline will push me for the next
people
6.
on the sidelines are. I've been one of those people.
Yes. Oh, you've been one. I love those people.
Screaming my head out for people that I just see just trying to make it.
Yeah, that's going to be me struggling, trying to get across the
I
finish
wish
line.
I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there.
Yeah.
I hope your listeners are there.
They will be. I've been getting these amazing texts. People have set up like little stands, like Angie cheering sections.
My gosh.
It's really cool. Yeah. So I'll need a little rest after that, and then at some point we're gonna have to run.
I want to do a run with.
We're gonna schedule that. I know it's been crazy. We've been trying to schedule, but we're gonna do it. And we're gonna do it for a soup kitchen in Jersey.
I love you. That's exactly right. That's great. We should do it. We should do a soup kitchen run. Are you around for Thanksgiving that week?
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk after the marathon, but if it's a short run, if it's like a 2-miler.
My mom and I are sticking around. My mom's staying. She's staying through the election. She came out. She's taking care of my 96-year-old grandma in Las Vegas, but she came out for me. She's going to stick around through Thanksgiving, and we're going to go to a lot of soup kitchens around the Thanksgiving holiday, like we did last year.
I'm in.
We should do something.
I would love to do that.
I would love that too, and do something special. We got to work something like that out.
We're going to set that up later.
Okay,
that's great. In the meantime, we have to. I know you have to go. We have to wrap up. What do you have? Well, we need everybody to vote. We need everybody to find your nearest polling station. Get out there.
Absolutely. I'm not even saying vote for me. I just want them. I want the.
You want them to vote for you.
Obviously, I want them to vote for me, but I don't want to be pandering. I don't want to just sit here and pander. My staff out there is tell them to vote for you. I don't want to. I basically just want to say. They're going to look at the end of this election, and they're going to make a lot of decisions based on the turnout of this election.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a lot of assumptions about young people, about minorities, about urban folks. And I want to prove the pundits wrong. This election, I'd love to prove the pundits wrong and show them that people vote and vote in what they call midterm elections like this that really do matter. So please come out and vote. Exercise your power. It sounds trite, but the right we have to participate in this democracy, many people don't have in the globe. Many people in this country's history died for that. But more importantly, in this election, when so much is at stake, please come out and vote.
I just had to write that down. Exercise your power. That will be our hashtag on Tuesday. Huh?
All right.
Power 105. Exercise your power. Get your vote out.
I like it. I can't believe you're running the marathon.
I can't believe it either. I'm terrified.
And you made 18 miles.
I made 18 miles, and I couldn't barely walk for 2 weeks after that, but now I'm starting to feel a little better just in time.
So can I tell you this? This is what you should do to treat yourself. And I hope some doctor can confirm this. But it's actually good to get the lactic acid moving out of your body afterwards.
Yes.
So you should get a massage. Treat yourself to a massage.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But do you think
because that helps to cut down on soreness?
It will help. And I'm going to do an ice bath.
Exactly.
Ice. I'm going to do all of that.
Massage. Do it. Treat yourself.
I'm still not going to be able to walk for a few days, but that's okay. I'm going to raise. My team has raised over $100,000 already.
Oh my gosh.
For the Pitchin Foundation, which is CC Sabathia from the Yankees. Him and his wife Amber, they raise money for inner city youth, and we do all kinds of cool programs. And so between all of us on the team, we're a little bit over $100,000 raised already.
That is amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yes, you definitely.
I'm so happy. So now I have to cross the
I
finish
want
line.
pictures.
Now I have to run.
I need pictures of you
I totally
running.
will.
What's the T-shirt going to say?
I haven't worked all that out yet. I don't know.
Well, just in case, we should send her some Cory Booker T-shirts. Just in case she wants to run with my name
in case I
and
need
blazoned
something
across her body. We can send it to her. Don't feel obliged if I send you a Cory Booker T-shirt.
I'll take it. I love it. I sent you Angie Martinez.
And I don't want you to come in my apartment to see what I did with those bumper stickers.
Oh my gosh. All right, one time, please, Senator Cory Booker.
All right.
Go vote, people. Hashtag exercise your power.